Hello, Drunkduckers. This is the Drunkduck Quackcast. I'm Ozone Ocean, and with me is the renowned and incredible explorer, Dr. Baines, and the terrifying temptress and femme fatale, Tanserine.
Really?
and I'm Colonel Ozone Ocean.
When I was younger, I was a terrifying temptress, wistful.
And then the change happened, and you lost all that. The menopause.
It all slipped away.
And that turned you into a murderer.
Now I'm just terrifying.
Okay. We're back now, and so this particular Quackcast, which, if you haven't guessed, is going to be about murder mysteries. Murder mysteries, which are a favourite kind of genre for people the world over. And they're one of the main kind of genres in the world. Big as romances, bigger than sci-fi, bigger than fantasy. Actually, sci-fi and fantasy has murder mysteries as well, so it's one of these kind of genres that goes into everything, even romances. So everything's a murder mystery, or it can be.
Yeah, I mean, I go to since you brought it up, and it's turning over in my mind. I think of all those PI shows and amateur detective shows, like so many of them, these long-running shows where there's a murder mystery. Just massive.
They certainly have murder mysteries at the centres. Okay, all right. Well, but before we get into that, I have to bring up the featured comic. And this week, Quackcast featured a crazy guy in a monster suit. So Quack, tell us about Crazy Guy in a Monster Suit.
In a site full of great titles, I was thinking when I saw that on the front page, like, that might be the greatest title of a comic.
Hello, this is Quackcast, and the feature I've selected for this week is Crazy Guy in Monster Suit by Monster Moose, and it is rated T for teen. Ted wears a new monster suit each day to break up the monotony of the workplace, ranging from a giant eyeball to a blob of gunk to a paper bag. The comic style slowly starts to evolve into a collage of metalhead surrealism, evoking record cover art, successfully combining movement with illustration. Comic titles coincide with the monster outfit of the day. The minimal comic bubbles in recent work make this a fascinating comic to read while listening to a favorite music soundtrack. Follow Ted on a psychedelic digital journey and read Crazy Guy in Monster Suit by Monster Moose, rated T.
And that was Quackcast with Crazy Guy in a Monster Suit. Wild and crazy guy. Okay, so next up we have another best of from Mr. Gumwallace. And this week I've chosen Mindfold, which is an incredible comic, and it's just finished. It's totally finished after 10 years of publication by the amazing creator Fallopian Crusader. It just wrapped up on the 26th of December, just after Christmas. 10 years, my God, quite an achievement. So this music is Mindfold, a tune that fits very well with its title. You can feel your mind folding with this gorgeous, echoing, evocative, multicultural influence sound featuring all manner of crystalline ringing synths, soaring violins, drums, and so much more. This would fit well with a high-concept cyberpunk anime. So it's a great tribute to the now completed comic Mindfold by Fallopian Crusader. So take it away, Gumwallace, with your theme. that was Gumballus' theme that I chose for this week. Okay, so now we're into the Quackcast, which focuses on the idea of murder mysteries. Murder mysteries, they're one of the world's kind of like premier genres, and like I mentioned, it's bigger than sci-fi and fantasy, whatever, but in sci-fi and fantasy it pops up, and I'm pretty sure in every single series of Star Trek there's been a murder mystery. In fact, several, probably.
Oh, yeah.
One in every season, probably. It's just...
Those are interesting, and this is off topic, but interesting and tricky with the technology on Star Trek. Like, how that's done. But that's another story.
And the lack of technology, too. Like, especially if you go back and watch The Next Generation, and they have, like, a mystery to solve, and you've watched, like, I don't know, Castle or Bones or something like that in the meantime, which were done later. These are just murder mystery, kind of standard kind of murder mysteries from sci-fi. And you look at, or NCIS, right? And you look at the technology they use, like, oh my god, let's look at the person in facial recognition. Let's get a DNA sample and a thumbprint from this and that. And then you look at Star Trek, which is set in like 400 years in the future, and you think, well, why are you having so much trouble? Why isn't every inch of this space 3D imaged at all times, so you can record exactly what happened? You can play back reality of what happened on the holodeck, and find everything. There's no mystery possible. But
it's been 5 minutes and we've solved not just this murder, but every other murder that's ever happened.
Yes, it's like the old black light in a hotel meme, but except it's with everything.
Yeah.
Oh my god, turn it off now! Turn it off! Oh dear. So yeah. But yeah, murder mysteries are like a and we were talking about the things that make so there are a few questions. I mean, why does it have to be a murder? Because it is a murder most of the time. Not all the time, and we will get into that. But why does it usually always have to be a murder? Why there are usually always at least one, but often two red herrings. If something's really kind of wanky, it'll have like multiple red herrings, but that gets frustrating for the audience if you've got a whole lot of red herrings.
Mm-hmm.
Two is usually the maximum.
Unless you prime the audience that there will be many red herrings, that sort of thing. If you have them expect that there will be more red herrings than not, then you can get away with that, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, these are stories where it's tied to a larger conspiracy, obviously. Like, say, like a Chinatown, or those kind of classic noirs, where it's the murder, it's one person who was murdered, but it's tied to this larger some kind of power play or some kind of financial thing or a large kind of scheme that's going on.
Oh, okay.
So it's on the detective to peel back the layers and find that, it's this powerful head of this company or whatever that final answer was in Chinatown. Then you see this old creep, and it's really scary.
Yeah, but so that's something you would often find in like a movie level thing, I think. So I'll revise what I said about two red herrings is the maximum. So in a movie kind of length thing, or a book or something like that, that's a really long kind of prose, then yeah, sure, go for it. But in like a TV series, then no, don't do too many because it gets exhausting.
Yeah, people would tune out and kind of roll their eyes at a certain point.
Yeah, exactly. I think the amount of red herrings you have depends upon the length of space you have to work them in.
Mm-hmm.
Length of space and time. It's just like space and time. It's quantum physics, basically.
Quantum physics and the science of the commercial break.
I would also say that red herrings are baked in the genre in the sense that someone that has staged has staged a murder and wants to get away with it will want to pin it on someone else. So they will make it look like that someone else committed it. So that's your red herring by nature, in a sense. So
Right.
Ooh.
So yeah, unraveling that, you could see that at least one would be built in to a standard story, and
mhm.
yeah, then the detectives try something else, and yeah, it could be done, and has been done well, for sure.
Mouse.
But I agree that like having red herrings over and over would start to be like, just get boring.
Yeah.
But it gets like frustrating if there's
Yeah.
a few too many. Because you get confused and you don't know where you are, and yeah.
Especially if it is done in a way that the author is clearly smelling his own or her own farts. And he says, "Oh,
Yeah,
I am so clever and I have fooled you again, audience, because you're stupid."
yeah,
And that sort of thing.
yeah,
So yeah, you have to do it in a way that feels organic. If there are more than one or two red herrings, there has to be a reason for it. And
yeah.
the best I can think of, in a sense, not quite red herrings, but communal red herrings would be the Murder in the Orient Express, which, I don't know, spoiler alert after all. uh, it's not a huge big thing that's new.
Hmm.
So anyway, you have been warned. Spoiler alert. In the end, it's not that just one person did it, it's that everybody did it. It's a literal murder train. So in a sense it would be, it's a red herring in the sense that there isn't just one killer, and it's like everyone is the killer. Everyone did it, which is very hard to pull off, and it was pulled off masterfully, in my opinion. Um, so
Nice.
there's that.
Are you
Yes.
talking about the novel or the '60s movie or
All of them, honestly.
all of them? Okay, great. I haven't read or seen any of them.
I have read it, and I have also seen the movies, and I really like all the interpretations. I'll be honest. I even like the one that gets flack for making Poirot an action figure. I don't care. I like that too. So,
Okay, that would be the newest one, I'm guessing.
yeah, with what's his name?
Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah, that's his name.
Oh, okay.
I can't watch those. I just cannot watch them.
I
They're just so dumb. It's just totally like get the character so wrong.
I find it as a just different interpretation that is done with as much love as the other ones. So I'm good with it. I don't mind. Because I don't see it as being done disrespectfully like in other IPs where I say, yeah, that's completely off. So I'm okay with it. I like it. I don't know.
It's not the Poirot character at all. It just totally misunderstands him so heavily.
I think it's yeah, go on.
It's the kind of thing that I would do, when we did the Drunkduck radio play, and I just was handed the script, and the characters were all sorted out, and people knew what they looked like. They were these male figures, and I just totally transformed them into female characters, in my own fashion, my own style, just in my own funky way, just for the fun of it. That's what they've done in that film. They've just transformed the characters into their own thing just for the fun of it.
I don't know. I just find the whole thing has been done consistently enough, and it gives the atmosphere that I would expect from an Agatha Christie story, that I give it a pass. I like it. I also like all the actors and how they act in it. So There you have it. I don't know.
There you have it.
I don't hate it. I usually hate the things that they were too much, but this one I'm okay with.
To me, though, like Poirot is a character in a specific way because of specific traits. It's like Pinky TA or something like that. They are as they are for reasons. You can't just totally change everything about them because then they're not them anymore. And that's what Kenneth Branagh did. It's not Poirot. It's Kenneth Branagh. But that's just me. That's just me.
It's just what everyone sees in everything. It's taste, a matter of taste, I would say.
David Suchet is the best Poirot. He is the best. As an actor, he's the best. Peter Ustinov is pretty good. I love Peter Ustinov as Poirot, but David Suchet that's.
I like them all. I find that every one of them brings something to the character. So.
Well, enough about Poirot. What about Agatha Christie was a total genius, by the way, though. Miss Marple is another one of her great characters. So, and Murder, She Wrote is somehow inspired by that. I don't understand why,
right.
But
it's not really that, though. It's a different thing.
I always thought it was totally different and had no relationship, but yeah, people do think it's related. But okay, a murder mystery that does take things in a totally different way is Columbo. And I imagine there's more murder mysteries like Columbo, but Columbo is the only one that I can really think of that does it. So what Columbo does is it shows you the murder in the very beginning. And it shows not just the murder, it shows you who did the murder. So you know who done it.
Yeah.
And immediately Columbo knows who done it as well. He just straight away he knows who committed the murder at the very beginning. But the rest of the thing is him trying to prove how the person did it in a way that is convincing, which is fascinating.
Yeah, I like that too. So,
so it
I'm
means,
trying to. Yeah, go on.
It means you don't have to be kept in the dark about who did it, and you don't need any red herrings at all. You can be told exactly who the murderer is and how they did it. Not exactly how they did it, but you can be told exactly who the murderer is in the very beginning without any red herrings. And then have it shown, and the mystery is just how they did it. It's not who committed the murder, which is fascinating.
Yeah.
It's just that I don't know if that would be classified as a murder mystery.
I think it is.
I wouldn't say so, because who is the mystery for? It's for the audience. So I would say that this is a crime story, for sure.
Right.
But it's not a mystery. The whole challenge is in snagging the criminal. That we all know who the criminal is, but we have to snag.
I would disagree, because there's still the mystery is the how did they do it, and that's a total mystery. So it's not just proving; it's like revealing to the audience slowly the methods they used, and those are always fiendishly clever,
I think that it's not a mystery when you know who the killer is, but that is a matter of definition. But that is definitely a crime story, and it is super engaging as well, and it is a sister category, I would say, to murder mysteries, because in the murder mystery the whole thing is to challenge the audience to predict or discover the murderer together with you.
I even think like say, what's its name? Law and Order. So Law and Order, that takes you through the whole process of the whole thing. Not just murders, but there's all kinds
Yeah.
of different crimes, and that takes you to like finding who it was, and then the legal stuff, which is in the second part. But that's often, I would say, that's a crime story and a murder mystery.
Yeah, when you have to discover who it was, for sure.
I just don't think that it matters knowing who it was, because often in a murder mystery, like, I will know who the murderer is in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah,
And that's
sure.
not because I'm a genius, that's because you can easily work out the patterns of the authors.
It's because you are genre savvy, but that doesn't make it any less of a mystery. Because you have to have it confirmed.
But
Yeah.
the thing is, it's not that. What's
Mm-hmm.
interesting about that, even if you know who the murderer is, it's interesting to work out how they did it, the same as the Columbo thing. Knowing who it was doesn't really matter, but working out how they did it is the fact, and why they did it too, because motive is another thing. So motive and method are both mysteries that you want to look up.
The last thing I'm going to say, because again, this is a matter of how you categorize, how you define certain things, and it's up for not even debate. It's just how do you want to define and categorize your art. It's very, very arbitrary. But I would say that the fact that one, when there is a question mark on who the killer is, whether or not you can predict it as an audience or not. And in the end, you have to have the resolution where they find the denouement, like you said. That makes it a murder mystery. If it is anything else around that, like we know who it is, and we just have to discover the motive and the background and how they did it, and blah blah. That would make it a crime story. That they are both equally engaged, they are equally fascinating, and they are equally entertaining, assuming that it is a good enough accomplished story, right? But again, it's a matter of how you classify your art. It's up to you.
Pains has been
Yeah.
suspiciously quiet. I'm
No,
suspecting
it's interesting. Yeah,
of
I
being
do
a
think.
perpetrator.
Oh, I see where you're going. Just one more thing, man. It makes me think of that structure of like the murder in the beginning and all that stuff is, of course, it's on countless cop shows and PI shows, but usually, like you say, you don't see the killer right away. You might see the murder, but not the killer. And the same applies to the X-Files, where it's some kind of supernatural thing. Usually, you see the murder, and then at the end of Act One, there'll be another murder, the same thing, and you don't see it until Mulder and Scully uncover it, or whoever uncovers it. So it's neat to know the person in the first place, like the movie Fargo, one of the greats, where the first scene is like the guy hiring the criminals to kidnap his wife. So like you see everything that's happening. You don't even meet the detective until she gets assigned the case. Until like there actually are some murders. So that's very interesting. I don't know if I'd say mystery or crime drama, crime thriller or whatever, but very it's neat.
Yeah, I think in the end it doesn't matter. But again, who defines what?
Well, let's ask A. Maybe. Now, little in joke there. Well, yeah. So murder mysteries. So, what are your kind of favorite murder mysteries? I mean, or mysteries. I mean, we don't have to have a murder mystery. Any kind of mystery. So, murder mysteries are the most kind of common ones for some reason. Higher stakes, whatever. But Baines, you mentioned the Chair Company.
Yeah, the Chair Company was really good. I like the quirkiness of it, it's drama and comedy, and the whole framework of it is this strange mystery conspiracy that's very complex. And I admit, I'll have to watch it again because there's probably the majority of it was very murky to me and I didn't understand it. But you like following the character and the supporting characters. Like that's a big part of it for me. Like if I like the detective, like I love I liked Simon and Simon when I was a kid. That show probably doesn't hold up. I love Marge in Fargo, and I love Clarice in Silence of the Lambs, and those are not necessarily mysteries like you were talking about, but the story "And Then There Were None," the Agatha Christie book, is
Yeah.
my favorite for me. Like, The Killer Is One of Us, that classic. And you don't know anything, not until the final pages that it tells you who.
And then there were none.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very clever titles.
I guess I like crime thrillers and stuff, and things like that more than murder mysteries, personally. I'm trying to think of.
Well, I love the radio ones. Lord Peter Wimsey, fantastic. So that's mostly set in the 1920s, and it has a very kind of toffee-nosed member of the British gentry investigating murders in the 1920s. So it's quite a different kind of social system in that time.
Yeah,
and it's fascinating. It's really, really a joy to, because it's you learn about a particular culture and a time through the lens of a murder mystery. Because a murder mystery is like eternal. Like, you can have murder mysteries at any time. I've read murder mysteries set in ancient Egypt, for goodness sake, and they're just as fun. They're just as fantastic. But they can give you an interesting window into that time period where they're set, which gives you another dimension to things. Because you might not be interested in ancient Egypt as a kind of a cultural world. You might be interested in it like in terms of history, but like the reality of it, it might not be interesting. I like have great murder mysteries set in ancient Rome too. Like they're just fantastic, and it makes it more relatable too, because we've seen so many murder mysteries set in the current day, or 100 years in the past and 20 years in the past, whatever. So you know how those things happen, and they're all very relatable kind of situations to you. So seeing that in ancient Rome or ancient Egypt or the 1920s makes you feel like you're there, because you know the situation, you know how it works. So okay, so they have to talk to these people, they have to talk to those people, and this person's exhibiting this level of sneakiness. So and they're an obvious red herring, so you have to talk to and they get beaten on the head and told to hello mouse, they get told not to get involved in the situation, that kind of thing.
Don't let me out, Oz. Let me out.
You've been warned.
Another now that we talk about murder mysteries and other data setups and stuff, I really like the ones taking place in such a place and time where pinning the crime on a ghost, or pinning the crime on like a deity or something like that, is a legitimate answer. So the detective or whoever it is that is investigating the crime has to first disprove that it is this deity or ghost or demon or whatever, and it is actually another person that committed the murder. I really like that. That always.
Are there a lot of those?
Yeah, if you look in the right place, because I watch a lot of Asian series.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of very, very gripping thrillers and mysteries set in the modern times, but there are also a lot set in these ancient Chinese, ancient Korean eras, where superstition was not just superstition, it was a legit thing. Like, yeah, we do actually have XYZ God that we have to appease, because otherwise it steals ladies for whatever reason, And they all legit believe it. So it is very hard to convince them that it is not this demon that is stealing women and
Yeah.
someone else is trafficking women.
Oh, that
And,
is neat. Yeah.
yeah, um, that sort of thing. I really like that. I like that as like having to deal with the supernatural when it is not actually supernatural uh, as a red herring, quote unquote, because you as the audience know that given the setup that they have already established, that there is no supernatural thing. So you know that this is a red herring, but you don't know how the detective is going to shoot it down and prove that it is not a deity without saying that there are no deities. You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
So that's like
Yeah.
more related to the Columbo thing, maybe, where it's you want to see how the detective
Yeah,
unravels it and how they
yeah,
figure it
but
out.
it is packaged in the red herring where you still don't know who did it, but you know that it's definitely not this. Like this
Yeah.
is a bullshit explanation. um,
And it sounds, I'm guessing that in that genre, it's not a supernatural being ever.
it's never
That,
a supernatural being.
yeah, that would be, it's like the opposite of the X
Yeah,
Files. Yeah,
and even in the stories where you do have supernatural beings, because there are a lot of those as well, where you have all the mythological creatures that exist in the Asian mythology.
yeah,
You still, it is extremely unlikely that the mythological creature is the one responsible. It's just the one that takes the fall for everything because
yeah,
it's so. And then the main character gets to know this creature that is also always anthropomorphic and illegally beautiful, male or female, doesn't matter.
yeah.
And then they have to work together to find out who it is that is pinning all the atrocities on them. That sort of. So it's fun. It's fun. I really like that sort of mystery. Sort
Yeah.
of. And the other genre that they have, and that I haven't actually seen in Western series at all, and if there is, I would really like to watch, is when it's not like a murder mystery per se, but it is like the family mystery. Like this family has a lot of secrets because it's like a huge kin with like 30 people, 40 people at least in this one family. And a lot of stuff has happened that has been explained away for ages, for decades even, in an X manner, which is not the truth, what happened. And now it comes up again with some other pretext, and the main characters have to slowly peel away all the layers of mystery to find out what exactly happened back then and who knew and who didn't know. And then, of
Ooh,
course, becomes a domino effect because usually these secrets are not just, they are very consequential and they often involve more than family politics and stuff. And it's not necessarily a murder, it could be like we pinned this crime on this guy and now we are profiting all together from this.
right.
That
Yeah,
sort of thing.
yeah,
Or we falsely accused the ex guy of treason, and now we are very much top tier in society, but this is the one secret that we have to never reveal. That sort of.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Oh, that's
I
neat.
love that. I love that as well. It's really good. When
Yeah,
also when it is within the family or transverses family, they are both like they are very well written. Yeah, and you can recognize all the patterns of toxic families in there, and it's great.
right.
It's well done.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, those can be good, and they can be heavy, drama heavy about the terrible secrets the family has, all coming to light.
Yeah,
That can be a bit Tennessee Williams kind of dramatic.
They don't go for the Tennessee Wheeler, like the melodramatic stuff. They usually go for, life is cruel, the world is cruel, everyone is cruel. What are you gonna do about it? That sort of thing. So it is very hard to watch the cruelty take place because sometimes it depends. Sometimes you know what the secret is, and then, like you said, you have to see what happens when everyone tries to cover it up and others try to uncover it, blah blah. Or you don't know what the secret was. You are fed the official story, the official excuse, together with everybody else. And then you are transferred to the here and now we have our story.
So,
Yeah.
what have you been your favorite murder mysteries? Did we already go over this? Or?
I didn't say. Some of my favorite, I will start with. Yeah, I do like. Oh my God, I just blanked. Yeah, I like the Knives Out one, the most recent I have seen.
Oh, did you watch the
And
others?
I haven't yet because I have realized that Craig is clean shaven and reminds me of Daniel Craig too much. But I'll watch them soon.
Yeah, he's got short hair in those ones.
um, and I also like the very Hitchcockian style ones. What's the one? I cannot remember the title right now. Where there is
The
this
Rear
one guy.
Window.
Yes. How did you know I would say that?
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
great.
read your brain. You see, that's the thing. It's a mystery.
So yeah, I really like that. Or something like the Maltese Falcon, that sort of thing. I really like that. And I do have most of the stuff that I have recently in my mind are Asian. I will I will recommend two series that they are relatively short, and they have a very intriguing, like a very compelling set of whodunits. And one is The Coroner's Diary, and that is about this woman that is a coroner, although it is forbidden for women to be coroners. And however, she's extremely good. So the inspector slash prosecutor, because those were two roles. It's set in the old times. So the inspector slash prosecutor basically hires her to help him with a series of whodunits. So that is very nice. And then you realize that some of these, not all, some of these are connected. And then you have the big murder mystery that overarches all of the other smaller ones as everything, ramps up towards the climax. And the other one is the wanted detective. And that's where you have this ace detective guy, again, old times. He's great. He's amazing. He's arrogant, super arrogant. Like, I'm the greatest that ever happened. So he gets framed for like a series of serial killings. And he completely walks into the framing, like he completely walks into it, and he becomes wanted, hence the title. And now he has to avoid everybody and also solve the murders so that he can be exonerated. And we have our story. So it's very fun because it also is it pokes, it makes fun at its own self a lot. Because this guy is so arrogant and then he has to be brought down a couple of pegs. And he assembles this ragtag team around him that believe him, that he's not the killer. And nobody is above being silly. but in ways that doesn't ridiculize the severity of what is happening. And I really appreciate this balance that is being kept. So yeah, highly recommended if you want an introduction into these kinds of Chinese dramas. These are both Chinese.
Great. Oh.
And I have a lot of Korean ones, but then I will be talking for way too long. So yeah.
Well, that brought to my mind a favourite series of mine that I bought on DVD that I loved so much. And I don't buy a lot of series on DVD, but this is one especially not murder mysteries. I never buy murder mysteries except for this one. I had to. It was the Nero Wolfe mysteries, which I really enjoyed. And this was a series of novels written by this fellow, like, decades and decades ago, in the classic kind of like period, sort of with a noir flavour, but then sort of coming out into a more kind of contemporary thing. So he began sort of, with a noir thing. Anyway, they had been dramatised in a number of ways, and most successfully by who was the acting? Who are the actors? Maury Chaykin was in it. Who's a great, big, amazing Canadian actor, and someone else who I can't remember now. Two great people. But the whole thing with the Nero Wolfe story is that it's like Sherlock Holmes, where you have basically Sherlock and Watson go out on the mysteries together, and they solve it together. But there's also this genius character, Myron, I think, something like that. I can't remember his name. He's not called Myron, but he's
this guy, I think I know who you mean.
He's the super genius character. But in the Nero Wolfe mysteries, the person who is the point of view character, which is Archie. Archie is the point of view character, and he sort of is the muscle, and he does everything. He actually goes and does the investigating, whereas Nero Wolfe stays at home all the time. Never, if he can help it, he never leaves his study or his bedroom or his kitchen. There's the three locations that he stays in if he can help it. So yeah, he's the story is like it's like Watson solving all the doing all the work, whereas Sherlock or whoever it is, that other character sort of stays put and doesn't do anything. So it's a very interesting story, because the genius of it all is always like in his study.
Yeah, that's neat.
And Archie goes and does all the work. I highly recommend this series. And it's a very interesting done series too, because it's an ensemble cast. So you have the main players who have their recurring roles, recurring character, and then you have a bunch of other actors who play different character roles each week or each episode, depending on their requirements from the show. And you'll see, there's that. Who are they playing today? They'll play a murder victim, or they'll play, the femme fatale, or they'll play the angry police chief, or the wealthy industrialist. So that's a fascinating way, because it's like a play, Whereas if you go and see different plays by the same cast, you'll see them do all different roles. And this is a similar kind of thing, but in a TV show. And it is so freaking clever. Hutton, I think the fellow's name is. I can't remember. It's a Canadian series anyway. Baines, again, genius coming from your country, as it always does. Filmed in Canada, but it's meant to be. It's set in New York.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But Nero Wolfe Mysteries is it's beautiful. It's beautifully done, because it's got the funny thing with the ensemble cast, which is an unusual kind of trait, but it also has a thing where it jumps between eras. So here we are with a murder mystery set in the 1930s during the gangster era, and here we are set in a period during World War II during, you know, time when there's rationing and, you know, all this kind of problems with industrialists and stuff like that, supplying, you know, war materials. And then we're all the way into the 1960s. And it's not, it doesn't jump linearly in that, you know, we start off in the 30s and then we move. It'll just be, in this particular episode, suddenly we're in the 1940s. In this particular episode, it's set in the 1930s. In this one, it's the 1950s. So it, and people don't, like, they're not aged up or anything like that. It's just set in those times. The only changes is the clothing, so and like the cars and the technology. So it's an amazingly beautiful series to watch. It just looks incredibly stylish. It's played beautifully. If you might have seen Maury Chaykin in a few things. He's this very large man.
Yeah, I know who that is. Yeah.
Yeah, quite a rotund guy. But he usually doesn't play a very intelligent man in a lot of things. Like, not very erudite man. But in Nero Wolfe, my God, he's like you think, oh, he's a freaking genius. He's amazing. So it's incredible to see him play that character, because it really suits him too. It's absolutely perfect. I can't recommend Nero Wolfe Mysteries enough. Timothy Hutton is the other guy who plays.
Oh, okay. How old is the show? He must have been fairly young.
That was the early 2000s, like 2004, something like that.
Yeah, not that old.
And Timothy Hutton was behind it. He basically adapted it. He was, pushed it through, got it funded and everything. He's like the executive producer or something like that. So he's stars in it, but also was behind it. Because he was like an Academy Award winner, I think. So, you know, he had a lot of kind of pull. But yeah. Freaking awesome TV series. Get it. There's only 2 seasons.
I'll definitely check it out. That sounds really, really interesting.
It does,
It's very hard to find, actually, unless even on DVD it's hard to find. But yeah, it's worth getting. So yeah, Baines, what's your recommendation?
Oh yeah, well, I love Dexter. I've talked about it before. He's a serial killer who tracks down and kills other serial killers, and every season, for the most part, is a larger mystery of unmasking a really, I guess, clever or effective serial killer who Dexter goes up against them, or they go up against Dexter. They are working against him, and it's that cat and mouse thing, and I love that kind of genre. The cop and killer, cat and mouse.
Does it get to the point where you don't know who's the cat and who's the mouse?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's like they're pretty evenly matched. Generally speaking, Dexter is smarter than the killers he catches from episode to episode. But yeah, there's usually a big bad for each season who's evenly matched. And so that I like that genre. You know, and in that genre of movies, like usually the killer is revealed maybe the end of Act 1, I want to say, or something like that. Like Insomnia with Al Pacino, you probably see the killer, played by Robin Williams, you see him like maybe a half hour in. Clint Eastwood in The Line of Fire, where he's a Secret Service agent. John Malkovich is the killer, and it's that kind of genre, you know, where the cop and the killer have phone calls, and there's a rivalry or whatever. Is probably similar, like it's a mystery, and then we see John Malkovich around the end of Act 1 or shortly after. So I like that kind of thing, and
John Malkovich was born to play those roles.
Absolutely, yeah. Insomnia, Dexter, and then there were none. Those would be standouts for me. I like The Fugitive. The mystery is probably a subplot in The Fugitive. Sorry, yeah, that's all.
I was going to say, have you seen the Knives Out series?
I haven't.
Okay. You might. I think you would enjoy them.
Yeah, at least the one I saw, I think you would enjoy.
Okay, yeah. I'll probably see it on that recommendation.
The first one is really, really fun. The second one is on the nose in some ways because it's a critique of it's a critique of like social media culture,
Right.
hyper wealthy people, so
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. But it's on the nose because of how obvious the critique is. So
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
really, and not just how obvious, but how much the characters have been sent up. So you think it's a bit obvious the way these people have been sent up. So yeah,
Right.
it's a bit on those, but it's also very fun, regardless of that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll take a peek. I like the sound of that.
Even if it is obvious, do you find the critique correct?
What's that?
Even if it is obvious, do you find the critique being correct?
Slightly. I mean, it's
I haven't seen it. I
it's
have no idea.
when I say obvious in a critique, it's the obvious simplistic critique, basically.
Mhm.
So it's not a good critique. A good critique is a bit more nuanced.
Mhm.
But it's like saying these people are shit. That's what it's saying, you know.
Okay.
So yeah.
Oh, I should
It's
also
cool.
give a shout out to Manhattan Murder Mystery, which is a movie I
Mhm.
love. It's the first Woody Allen movie I ever saw. I find it hilarious, and I love that vibe of his movies. And it's a lot more like Rear Window, where it's like, I think this guy killed his wife, and then an amateur detective sort of wants to prove it. Or,
Mhm.
We covered one of these on the Quackcast, didn't we? We did a whole Quackcast about one of these films.
we did?
In the style of Rear Window. We did. Okay, the mystery has been revealed. It was the Burbs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. We did a commentary.
I would never have homed in on that, although we are absolutely correct, because for me that is more of a horror story, although it is definitely a murder mystery as well,
Yeah, and a comedy. Yeah.
and a comedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was, they took their cues from Rear Window.
For sure. Yeah.
Because a few of them believed, well, it was initially one guy believed it was the murderer. They were murderers, and no one else believed him, and the whole thing is to try and prove it and think if there even was a murderer and all that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
this wasn't a giant camera or someone with a leg injury involved. Although he did have to have a like a holiday or something, didn't he? Because he was
off work and just staring out his window, looking at the neighbors. So it was similar without the broken mind.
Exactly, and the Rear Window's been like that has become a genre in its own thing. Many people have done the Rear Window.
Yeah.
In all different ways.
Yeah, apparently
Some of
the
them
movie
very
Disturbia is really good, and it's based on Rear Window. I think that's the name of it.
Disturbia. I must look that up now.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but I've heard good things, and it's very much Rear Window. I think a guy's under house arrest or something. Maybe, yeah. I'm thinking of the right movie.
2011 psychological thriller. Directed by DJ Caruso.
That reminds me. Oh my God, what was the title? Something like a woman at the train window, or something like that. That was.
Yeah.
Yes. Girl in the train window.
Yeah.
I think I know that one. It's like something happens on a speeding train that they see it from the window of their house or something.
Yeah, woman in the window. I found it. I remember I didn't like that one.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. I don't remember it.
Yeah, Hitchcockian vibes, it says. And yeah, because I think it's like someone, if I remember correctly, because I just have this general vibe that I remember from the movie, it's that someone commutes with a train and they look at the window and they see very specific houses as they pass by. And then they look at a specific house and, different scenes. And then they don't, which lead them to believe that there may have been a crime committed there, sort of. So that was very nice.
Yeah, I like that. I like the description. I'm reading it now too.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
know the
that's
story.
no, that's a
makes me
different.
think of.
The Woman in the Window is another one that is also good. The other one is the one with the train. I have to find the title.
Well, we are wrapping up in like 4 minutes. So
Yeah.
let's see. What rapid fire, guys? TV series that
Girl,
we've promoted.
Girl on the Train. The title is Girl on the Train. The one
Yeah,
I
might have
Girl
seen.
on the Train.
Mhm.
Might be the one I've seen. Yeah.
It's a long-running British TV series called Death in Paradise, I think. And it goes in all different ways. So the kind of like the big story there is they all go, like some fish out of water British detective goes and resides in some, faraway place and sets himself up as the investigating police officer on to look at murders. So the whole thing there is like the fish out of water kind of aspect, and this police officer in an exotic place discovering who the murderer is. I haven't really seen the whole series, but I've seen the Australian version of it, which is Return to Paradise, where a female detective comes back from Britain to Australia, back to her hometown, and becomes a police detective there and uncovers crimes. And the crimes are usually fairly interestingly done, not that well, but what's really good there is the visuals. Everything looks amazing, and you just watch it because it looks so beautiful. So it's set in this, the paradise kind of place in northern Queensland, which is Australia's version of Florida. But it looks very, very beautiful. So yeah, Return to Paradise, that's a good one.
I loved What Lies Beneath. It's kind of a mystery story along that. The suspicious, the person becomes suspicious of her neighbors. It's also possibly a ghost story. She thinks her house is haunted, but she believes her neighbor killed his wife. That's kind of how it kicks off. It's a good one and full Hollywood in a good way, I think. Michelle Pfeiffer, Harrison Ford.
Also, again, a shout out to Dark Places with. I'll find her real quick. I should have. Dark Places movie. Come on. It's a famous lady. Charlize Theron, with Charlize Theron. It's one of the best depictions of PTSD as well. So.
Okay. Yeah, she's good. She's very good.
Well, this has been Quackcast number 774. We've got Ozone Ocean, me. We have Tanserine and Baines. See, I point to these guys, they never introduce themselves. Never do. Unprompted. Oh, God.
Can't tell who you're pointing at.
Everyone that's not me. So yeah, Quackcast 774. And so who did it in the end? Who was responsible?
The killer is